Good morning. It's Rebecca from Rebecca Inc. I guess I could say today it's closer to good afternoon. So good afternoon. Today we are going to draw a special drawing as requested by Anna Browning for her Grandpa Tom. Happy birthday, Grandpa Tom. We are going to draw two elephants. I thought that could be kind of cool for Grandpa Tom and Anna B. You are going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, a marker, and an eraser. So if you need to, put me on pause, gather up your supplies, and come on back. All right, I'm going to move my guide, and we will get started. The sun always wants to pop up. I think it's not gonna, and then it does. Okay, you're gonna start with your pencil. I'm gonna use a marker so that you can see me a little bit better, okay? We're gonna start on the left-hand side of the paper, and we're gonna start with the grandpa elephant. Let's go toward the top of the paper. We're gonna do a nice oval shape for the head of our elephant. So get your arm going from your shoulder in a shape about this big, and when you feel like you have it, put your pencil down nice and lightly. Go around and around and around and around, and you will arrive at a really nice oval. Now if you notice, my oval is not perfect. Yours will not be perfect either. We're not wanting it to be perfect. So just relax and let your arm draw the oval, and you'll see it all come together in the end. Okay? From there, we are going to move on to the eyes. We are going to add in 3 circles. So let's start off to the left-hand side of your circle. Get your arm going. Off to the left-hand side of your oval. Get your arm going in a circle. Again, I'm moving my whole arm from my shoulder. I'm kind of locking my elbow and my wrist and my hand in place, getting that larger motion, and then when I have it, set my pencil down. From there, let's start at the bottom of that one. Get your arm going again, and let's draw a little bit larger one. These shapes are going to help us define the head shape of our elephant as well as the eye shape of our elephant. Now inside that smaller one, let's draw an even smaller one still. We're going to plant our wrist, and with our fingers go around and around and around, and draw a nice little circle inside there. Inside that circle, you guessed it, another little circle. So I guess that was 4 circles, not 3. All right, just like we've done in past videos, we're going to plant our wrist and draw a nice little arc in just the natural motion that our wrist is going to go. If you plant your wrist, put your pencil down at the corner of that eye there, and move your hand in the natural motion that it's going to go in. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Let's start with a larger circle this time. And it's okay if it goes just slightly outside of our oval, because if you look at an elephant, you'll see they've got some nice bumps. And this is going to help us define that shape in their skull. All right, let's move on to that smaller circle. Inside that circle, it's kind of tucked over to the right a little bit. And inside that circle, a littler circle. Just like that. And inside that one, another little one. Very good. Okay, from there we're gonna plant our wrist and draw the nice little arc right over top. That's gonna be the eyelid for our elephant. Okay, from here we are going to add in those amazing ears that elephants have. We're going to use a series of circles and triangles, ovals and triangles to get this shape. Off to the side, just above your eye, you're going to do an oval going out, just like that. It's okay if it overlaps. Again, these are nice loose shapes. We're not judging ourselves. We're not erasing anything. We're just in the moment drawing some shapes. And then straight down next to this face oval, let's draw another one just right here. You're going to go around and around using your whole arm to create that shape, and when you get it, put your pencil down, go around and around and around. In the long run, we will trace over our favorite lines and erase all of this. So nice light lines. Let's connect these two shapes with a triangle. You're going to put your pencil down and drag down using your whole arm. Connect those shapes. Now if you want to, you can draw in that whole triangle. This is the triangular shape that I'm referring to. Or if you want to, you could just have that line going down. That's fine, either way. Up at the top, where our oval meets our head oval, we're just going to add in a nice little diagonal line, just like that. All right, let's do the same exact thing on the other side. We will add in an oval at the top part of the ear. And then along that face, another oval. Up and down this time, get your whole arm going. And then let's connect them with that triangle. I'm dragging my whole arm, putting my pencil down and dragging my whole arm. If you are having trouble seeing that shape, I'm going to sketch it in for you. If you want to, you can do that, or you can just draw the outside diagonal of that triangle. From here, we need to add a few little connecting triangles up here from the ear to the head. I'm going to add in a little one here, over, and a little one here, over. You're doing so good. Okay, we are ready for, let's move to the body of our elephant. The body of the elephant is going to be seen mostly behind that head. So we are going to draw a circle. It's going to come up like almost all the way up to our eyes and down to about here. So if you want to put a little guide there for yourself, you can do that. I'm just doing that so you can see what we're up to. I'm going to start up at the eyes, get my whole arm going, and then when I get that shape that I want, I'm going to set my pencil down. If at any point I'm going too fast for you, pause me, catch up, and then hit play when you're ready, and I'll be right here. Okay, now that we know where our body's going to live, we can add in a few rectangles for the legs. So we're going to do the front two legs first. Let's start on the left-hand side. We're going to go up into that circle we just did for the body and come down to a nice rectangle, just like that. Now for the rectangle, I'm again moving my whole arm from my shoulder, setting my pencil down and dragging it down, back and forth for the bottom, and then same thing, dragging it down on that side. And then we're going to add another rectangle below that. It's going to be a little bit smaller this time. The top part of their leg is a little bit longer than the bottom part. And then at the base of that, I'm going to add an oval. See how my hand shakes and see how my oval is not perfect? Yours will not be perfect either, and you shouldn't expect it to be, okay? Drawing, you got to be forgiving with yourself. On either side of this leg, we are going to connect a long, skinny triangle from what would be our knee. We're going to draw a nice long triangle. I'm planting my wrist, and I'm just moving my hand for that one. Up and down and up and down. Nice and loose, little triangle there. And we have a leg. Let's move over to the other side of that circle and do the exact same thing. We're going to do from right about here, a rectangle down, about the same length as your other one, about the same width. Now if they're not exact, see how I'm like, oh, I want it to be a little wider? You can do the same thing. It's just sketching it in nice and light. Then let's add in that base one. Just like that. You're doing so good. And then an oval for the foot. The oval is going to give it that rounded part of the elephant's foot. And then from there, add in our long skinny triangles. Just like that. Let's do the same for our back legs. For this leg, it's going to be just nice and straight. So we can do one long rectangle starting about here. Just go down one long rectangle like that, and then add in a little oval at the bottom. When we go to trace over everything, we're not going to include every line that we've drawn. So don't worry if things overlap and that doesn't make sense to you. It will in the long run, so don't sweat it right now. On this side, the back leg is bent in a little bit. So we are going to draw a rectangle at a little bit of an angle, just like this. Just like that. And then back in the other way. Just connect it with a little triangle. See that triangle there? And you've got a back leg. Moving back up to our face, we are going to draw in a square. It's going to live from our eyes all the way down to the base of that face oval. So I'm going to start at the bottom and go up to my eye and over and down. Can you see that? Just like that. Now in the corners of that square we just drew, we're going to do a little angle, just like that on this side, and just like that on this side, to give ourselves a little triangle on either side. Off of those triangles, on this side we're going to do a little oval. This will be our elephant's tusk with a triangle on the end. For these smaller shapes, I'm planting my wrist and I'm going around and around, getting my hand moving, and then I'm setting my pencil down. Same thing on the other side. This one I'm going to have it face out this way. So we'll do a little oval this way with a triangle on the end, just like that. Now we're ready to add in the trunk. The trunk is the best part of the elephant. Our trunk is going to start out thick and then get thin, and it's going to go over to its granddaughter. So we're going to do a nice big oval here. It may take you a few times to go around and fill up that space between our tusks. Get a nice big oval going. From there, let's add on another one. They're going to overlap, and we're going to curve it around. You're doing so good. All right, let's add in another one here. It's going to overlap. I am moving my whole arm from my shoulder, and I'm not stressing too much about it. My ovals are gradually getting skinnier as they head over to the other elephant. Another one there. Then I'm going to do an even littler one right there, and on the end of it, I'm going to put a triangle, just like that. Let's add in a few connecting shapes, just like we've done with the other things. We're going to just put a little line here to make a triangle. Heading up the top of the trunk there, connect those ovals with some little triangles, because there are no sharp angles here. That's a nice fluid line when we trace over it. Add in there and add in there. Same thing here. You may not have a lot of space for a triangle, and that's okay. As long as when we go to trace over it, you can get a nice smooth line. And believe it or not, you have just drawn an elephant. So we've got Grandpa. Let's move over and do Granddaughter. We're going to do the same shapes, but smaller this time. Our granddaughter elephant is going to live right about here. We're going to start with her head. So if you want to get an idea of sizing, the square that we drew on this elephant's face is going to, if you follow that base of that over, that's going to be the tip of the baby elephant's head, the little elephant's head. So if you want to give yourself a guide there, you can do that. If not, you can just draw it where it lies. All right, from our shoulder, get your whole arm going, and we're going to draw a nice little oval for our elephant's head. You're doing good. Halfway up that oval, we are going to add in a few circles for our elephant's eyes. Do you see how my circle is not perfect and it goes around and some areas are inside, some areas are outside? Yours is going to be the same. In the long run, it's going to be just fine, so let it live there, let it be wobbly, it's okay. Same thing on the other side, around and around, and inside those, you guessed it, more little circles. these circles are going to live right at the edge of this oval. I'm planting my wrist and with my fingers around and around, right at the edge of that oval. And then a little one inside there. Same thing on the other side. A little circle and another little circle. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. We can have a code and then I'll know. All right, from here, we're going to do those arcs that we did. That will be the eyelids. We're going to plant our wrist from the corner. We're going to go around that top and over, just like that. Same thing on the other side. Plant your wrist and follow the natural movement of your hand to give a nice little arc there. Let's draw the ears. We're going to do those same ovals that we did on the big elephant. We're going to do on the little elephant. Off to the side, one bigger one, and then down along the face. Another one, just like that. And then that connecting triangle. Can you see that triangle there? I'm curious, are you guys starting to look at shapes in things differently? Are you trying to break things down into shapes at all when you look at them? I'm curious if you're starting to do that. All right, triangle up this way and back. All right. Let's do the body. Just like the big elephant, a big portion of this body is going to be hidden behind its head. So we're going to start up by the eyes, and with our whole arm, we're going to draw a circle. We're not going to see most of that circle when we go over this. It's going to be hidden behind that head. So we're going to draw a nice big circle for our body, just like that. And then let's add in our legs. Let's start on the right-hand side here for this one. We are going to draw a rectangle. It's almost at the edge of our body circle. Just like this. Coming down to get that rectangle. If you need to move your paper, rotate it in any direction for any of these shapes, feel free to do that. I'm not doing that because I don't want to move my paper. I've got it situated just right for my camera. All right, up above, or down below that, we're going to do a little square. Just like that. I'm planting my wrist and moving my pencil up and down, back and forth, back and forth. It's shaky and it's nice and loose and nice and light. All right, same thing we did on the big elephant, a little oval on the bottom, and a few thin connecting triangles. There you go. You're doing so good. All right, over to the other leg now. On this leg, it's going to be bent. So we are going to draw right about here, just over from our grandpa's trunk. We're going to go right about there, down to the knee, just like that. And then we're going to do a little angle, just like this, and over. If you need to tilt your paper to get that angle, do that. For the back legs, we can just do big long rectangles with a little oval at the bottom. So this back leg is going to live right about here and come down just shy of that front leg. So go ahead and draw a rectangle there with a little oval at the bottom of it. Same thing over here, tucked inside, another rectangle, just like that, with an oval at the bottom. Okay, now for our trunk, and then we're done. The trunk, let's see, I think we need, nope, the baby does not have the tusks, so let's do an oval right here. Right at the base of that face oval, you're going to add in an oval about this thick. So it's about halfway, takes up about half of that oval. And then we'll add two more going down. Make your ovals just a little skinnier as you go down. Just like that. Oh, let's do one more. We'll do 4. There we go. We've got a trunk. Let's add in our little triangles on the sides. So we've got a nice fluid motion there. And then at the base, I'm just going to do a little oval and a little triangle to round that out. You have all the pieces that you need to draw. Oh, I forgot one thing. Let's add in that little triangle on this ear, little arc like that. Same thing on the other side, go in the other direction, like that. And let's add that on back up here on the big one. I forgot that one. It's tricky. Sometimes I talk and I can't keep up with my thoughts. Okay, you're gonna set down your pencil and grab your marker. I'm using a Sharpie. You can use whatever you like. If you don't have a Sharpie, grab a marker, grab a pen, just something that you can't erase, okay? We're gonna start at the top of our large elephant's head. We're gonna go over that triangle, around the head, down to that triangle, just like that, and then we're gonna stop. For the ear, we're gonna cut into, all the way to that oval for the face. We're gonna follow this oval all the way around. So go ahead and go just past that triangle you drew, around that oval, just like that. Down, over the triangle, connecting to that oval, around the base of that oval, and up to where that oval meets your face, the oval that you've got for your face. So you just drew an ear. Let's do the same thing on the other side, around the top part of that oval, down around the triangle, around that oval, and stop. I'm going to leave that open a little bit because I want the tusk to be in front. So I'm going to stop right there. If I need to go back and connect those in a little bit, I will. Okay, moving back up to the face. Remember how I said these big circles are going to give us some cool shapes for our elephant's head? We're going to do those now. So around these large circles that we drew, we're just going to trace over just the outside part of that, just a little bit. So I'm going to start right about here, about 3/4 of the way up on that larger circle I drew around the eye, and I'm going to go down to about there. You do the same. On the other eye, let's do the same thing. Down and around, just like that. You're doing so good. All right, let's go ahead and do the eyes now. We're going to draw around the base part of that eye circle and then do the arc that cuts across on the top. Go ahead and fill in your eye and leave that little circle that we drew, the little white part, leave that white. Same thing on the other one, around the base of that circle, trace over the arc and fill in your eye, leaving the little white spot for a reflection. Okay, I'm going to add in a few little details here. At the top of this circle that we drew around the eye, we're just going to add a little mark at the top of that side and a little mark at the bottom. And on the other eye, I'm going to do a little mark on this side and stop there. Okay, now let's move on to that square we drew. We're going to draw down the top of that square to the top of the triangle. So we're going to angle it. We're going to go down and over and connect that to our trunk. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Top of that square, down, top of the triangle to the trunk, just like that. Let's add in our tusks. For the tusks, we are just going to trace around the exterior part of the shape. So around the oval, onto the triangle, and back to the face. Very good. Other side, around the oval, onto the triangle, back to the oval, back to the face. You just drew a tusk. All right, let's connect that little ear now that we know where our tusk is going to live. And let's move on to the trunk. Now the trunk is going to be the thing that's out in front the furthest, so that's why we're starting there. We're just going to trace around the lines that we've got on the outside of all of our ovals. So we're going around that oval, onto the connecting triangle, around that oval, and around. If you need to stop and move your hand because it feels uncomfortable, do that. I'm doing that. Onto the triangle, moving over, and I'm rounding around that triangle at the very end. Let's go back up to the face. On this side, I'm going to take my line just a little bit up onto that oval that we drew, and then I'm going to come down around the oval, around the triangle, curve around. You're doing so good. There we go. If I'm drawing faster than you can draw, pause me, trace around your shapes, and hit play. And we'll be right here when you get back. Okay, for the body, let's start with this leg. We are going to start on the left-hand side, and we're going to go up into the body circle, and then just simply trace around all the lines that are on the outside of that leg. Around the outside of that rectangle, down around that connecting triangle, around the base of the foot, heading back up. This would be our knee, all the way up there, overlapping that circle there. Now, let's draw on this side, let's draw that circle connecting down to that front leg. So we're just going to plant our wrist, trace over that line you've already got, and you're good. Now for that back leg, we're just going to trace over this side, and we will have a back leg. Very good. All right, same thing on this side. We're going to go around the body to the front leg, just like that. And then we're going to go down around the leg. Now when you get close to your trunk, make sure you stop. So go nice and slow around the body, down on that leg, and stop when you get to your trunk. Skip the trunk area and go down to the base of that leg, from the knee, around the base of the foot, around that triangle, back up to the trunk, and stop. For your back leg, we are just going to do this little bit right here, just like that. And we just have a few marks left. We're going to do a little bit around that body oval there, and a tiny hint of it there. I'm going to add in a line I didn't have in my guide. We're going to add a little line on this side for that other leg, just like that. And you just drew an elephant. Can you believe that? You should feel proud. All right, we will add in a few details now. For the trunk, they have these cute little wrinkles. So where you have your ovals, just between that top one and that next one, add in a few little wrinkles. To get those, I am just simply touching my marker down and arcing my hand the way that it naturally goes. Now up by this eye, I'm going to add in one little arc right here, just like that. You do the same. Oh, and I'm going to add in the face that we missed there. Around this oval, let's draw the face oval that we originally had. Let's add in that line right there. We're not going to add it on that side, just on this side. And then for some accents on the ears, where we drew those arcs or diagonal lines, add those in. Just like that. And you drew an elephant. Okay, let's do the same thing on the baby. We're going to go around the head, over to the ear, around the ear, down that triangle, around the base of that oval, and up to where it connects to the face. Same thing on the other side, around the top of that ear, down the triangle, and back up. For the face of this elephant, we're going to go just below, or actually just past where we've got that diagonal line for the ear, and we're going to go around that oval just a little bit, and then we're going to go a little bit around that eye circle that we drew. We're going to stop there, and we're going to add in the arc of that eye, just like that. And just like we did on the other elephant, draw around the base of the circle and fill in your eye. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Around that oval that we originally drew for the face shape, around a little bit of that eye circle. Then add in your eyelid and draw around the circle for the eye, leaving your little highlight there. From here, we're gonna go just below that eye, hop right back on this oval here, and go down our trunk. Just like that. And then connecting. I'm kind of planting my wrist in my elbow, and I'm just dragging my arm down the lines that I've already drawn, and then crossing over. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Down and around. So good. Okay, for the legs, let's do this leg first. We're gonna go up into that body circle, down around to the knee, down to the foot, around that little oval, and back up. And we're gonna let it intersect just like that with our body. Other side, same thing. That front foot overlaps that body circle, down around the oval. If you need to lift up your hand because it feels awkward, do that. Let's go up to our ear and draw from the ear around that body circle and connect it to our legs and draw straight down, just like that. Let's add in the rest of the circle for the body. We're going to add that in on this side of the trunk, just like that. This side of the trunk, just like that. Then we're going to go up to the ear, around that body, to the grandpa's trunk. Lift up your pencil, or your marker at this point. Then on the other side of that trunk, connect it down to that front leg. All we have left to do is trace around the outside shapes of our back leg. There's that one, all done. And the outside part of that leg, all done. Let's add in a few of those little details like we did on the bigger one. We're going to do that little arc in the ear, just like that. Same thing on the other side, just like that. Around this eye, I'm going to give a little wrinkle there. Same thing on the other side, a little wrinkle there. And then we're going to add in a few wrinkles on the trunk. On this one, because it's a smaller one, I'm angling my wrinkles the other direction. I'm following the base part of those ovals to get our little wrinkles there. All right, to give us a little depth, we'll do one more detail and then we will be done. Let's go over to the big elephant and let's just shade in a little bit underneath his ear. We're just kind of drawing a little fat line on either side. Up where his legs meet his body, go ahead and kind of fill in a little triangle there. Same thing on this side. And then let's do those same things on the little guy. A little bit of shading on either side of the ear and where his front legs meet up with his body on both sides of them, just like that. And you're done. You did so good. I'm really proud of you. This one was a little complicated, but I thought you were up for the challenge. You are going to set down your marker, grab your eraser. I'm using this kind of eraser. You can use the end of a pencil. You can use whatever kind of eraser you have at home. I'm going to switch back to my guide because I drew that one with pencil and erase right along with you. You're going to hold your paper down and just start erasing. I hope you had fun drawing with me today. I cannot wait to see the elephants that you drew. Please send me those in the comments below. And let me know what you want to draw. I will need some suggestions for next week on some things that we want to draw. So let me know what you want to draw. If you're looking for some other things to do today to fill up some time or just to relieve some stress, please feel free. Check out my website, Rebecca Ink, I-N-K, because I like to draw with ink, RebeccaInk.com. I have some really cool downloadable coloring pages. I'm adding more as the days go by, so check that out. Get yourself a coloring page. If you're sending me the pictures that you've drawn, I am leaving them up on my Facebook under the comments, but I'm also adding them in on my website under the tab Interact. So if you've sent me pictures, they are up there. You can check it out on that tab Interact on my website. And then on Instagram, you can see some cool time-lapse videos of what we've done today, as well as what I'm working on in the studio later on. So you can find me on Instagram at @RebeccaInkabink. All right, send me your drawings, and I will see you tomorrow. Stay home and stay safe.